Okay, buenas noches. Good to see you guys. Today is Thursday, September 11th, and we got students coming in. We're excited to see you all. Um, I'm going to share the slides with you because we have some links that I want to make sure everyone has access to after class. And put this in the chat. You can feel free to follow along on your computer or just watch me because I have them up on the screen. But we want you to be able to check out our resources. So there you go. And today we got everybody's names squared up as much as we can so far. We're working with a few people still on their Lingit names. Um, we want to double check before we go into our next topics. So we'll do a check-in about names. Um, and then we're going to get into our discussion topics that we've been hungry to draw from you all. So we'll be having a discussion today, asking you to tell us a little bit about where you come from, especially pertaining to knowledge or experience with berry picking. So we have some fun virtual berry picking activities lined up for the fall for this month. So we'll
And
start with that discussion.
we're all
Uh-huh.
be hungry after this.
Yeah. Shirley and I love talking about food in class, and this is the lunchtime class, so yeah. Might as well go ahead and get used to getting hungry during class. Uh, and then we'll do what you hope to learn in this class too, so that we have your goals in one place and we can keep those in mind as we plan out our next few months together. After our discussion, we'll start you off on a dialogue. We'll do a knock-knock format dialogue back and forth that we can practice, two people at a time. And we'll be using your names in the sentence, first asking the question, who is it? If someone's knocking at your door, and then they'll respond, this is blank, and you fill in the blank with your name. And then we have a couple resources we want to share. Like I mentioned, all our resources that we use in this class, I put them in a drive together, but you can also access them through these slides. So we'll do a little brief intro. We like to do resource introductions as we go so that you can use it right away and you learn one at a time rather than overwhelm you by doing them all at once. So we have those. But yeah, so let's jump into our question and answer. Sometimes people come to class right away with questions about the language or things we've done in class. So I'll just open it up now. Do you guys have any questions or comments so far? What about names? Is there anybody who has not gotten a name yet? Okay. So let's go into our berry picking discussion. We were hoping to hear from you about where you're from. Doesn't have to be super long, but just a little bit about where you're from, especially relating to berry picking. So who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Awesome. Thank
I
you,
just
Ursula.
I just say whatever.
Yeah, just
Okay.
a little, yeah.
Well, I live in Colorado. My family's from Juneau, and most of my fond memories with my grandma are berry picking memories because she just dropped in to her full power of berry picking. She, two hands, giant bucket, and there wasn't much. It was just joy. It was just joy. There wasn't judgment. There were nonverbal lessons, um, and you're outside and you're working towards a common goal. Um, and so, yeah, my fondest memories with my grandma were in Juneau, berry picking.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you go in a group?
Yes. Usually my mom, my grandma, and my sister, my auntie.
And anybody else that wants to join?
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice to have a group.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gurachish. Before you go too far, where are you in Colorado? Because I have a granddaughter in Denver.
I'm 5 hours away from her, in Pagosa Springs, which is in the southwest corner near Durango.
Yeah. A lot of mountains.
Mm-hmm. Lots of mountains and hardly any berries.
Yeah.
Berry picking with grandma and aunties is the best. Thank you for sharing that.
Sheesh for sharing. Blake Kinach Trisha Yuchat Duasauk. Lingit Kinach Siki Yuchat Duasauk. Duckloady Hat Sati. My name is Saki. I'm from the Duckloady clan in Cargrass Tagish First Nation. And berry picking was a huge part of my life. When I was a child, I would always go out with my grandma, my parents, my aunts, uncles, cousins, my siblings. Um, I actually didn't really enjoy it when I was a child. And I found that I'd probably end up eating more berries than actually putting it in the berry pot. But now that now that I no longer have my grandma, it's something that I do treasure and I do miss. And I've gone out now with my youngest child and my husband, and um, just to smell the mountain air, the fir balsam, and it really just takes me right back to my childhood, and that connection to the land just means so much more now than it ever did when I was a child. Um, so my traditional territory is, like I said, is Carcross Tagish in Yukon, and our berry spot would always be in the mountains on the way towards Skagway. So, yeah, that's everything. Gonna sheesh.
Yeah. Qué buenos días. I can really relate to that smelling the mountain air and how many memories that can bring back for a person. I love that. Thank you.
I'm not familiar with Skagway or Carcross. Um, I think it's uh, really wonderful. And if you tell your story and it includes pets, dogs, let us know.
Ah, yes, definitely dogs for sure. Gonna sheesh.
Yeah.
Who else wants to share berry picking or knowledge or experiences?
Um, I feel like I don't have too much to say. This is Tammy. Um, but I guess I could do like a thing. Um, but my family's from Wrangell, and we would go there every summer for the 4th of July when we were kids because we grew up in Seattle. Um, and it was always high salmonberry time, so we did a lot of salmonberry picking up, walking up and down the hill to town. So I have a lot of salmonberry memories, I guess. And now we mostly pick. There is a lot of salmonberries, and when the salmonberries first come out over here, I live in North Bend, which is about a half hour from Seattle now. And every time I see the first salmonberry, I'm just like, yes, it's spring. And it just gives a lot of good memories. And I have a 5-year-old, and I remember giving her first salmonberry and just being like, "This is your people's food. Like, we love it." My partner's like, "Ugh, salmonberries are so gross," and I'm like, "Nope, not for me." um,
They're so colorful.
they just, yeah, they're so
Right?
colorful and just, yeah, fill my little soul.
Hmm.
I think that's it. Thank you, Ganeshish.
Yesheg onastish. Salmon berries are so good. Unastish, that was fun. It's fun to go down memory lane with you guys when you share. Who else wants to share?
Yeah, I can go. This is
Okay,
Michael.
awesome.
Um, so I don't know if everybody was here when I said that I was from Germany. Never been to any of the lands where Tlingit is spoken. The closest I've gotten was Washington State, and there are a few Tlingit people there, but I haven't heard the language when I was there. So my experience that I'm going to share is from Germany. It's something that every kid in Germany did, and it's going to sound a lot like what we just heard. I don't remember who it was, but I also had my bucket and it stayed empty, but my tummy was really full after a couple of hours. So I was picking the berries, I was eating them myself, and I went with my parents, my mom and dad, and my dad grew up in a very small village next to a forest. And from his own childhood, he knew all the good spots where we had to go to find blueberries. Nobody would ever touch them there. So we just had to turn around and there was another, I guess you call them brushes or bushes, the small things where they grow. And they were all full with the sweetest berries I've ever eaten in my life. I remember that. I've never had any other blueberries like that.
Hmm.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing all the way from Germany. So cool.
Yeah, that's really
Anybody?
nice to hear about other countries to find out. I lived in Seattle, but I never went berry picking. I think I saw a salmonberry bushes, but I didn't see any berries. Might be the birds got them. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to explore berry picking in other spots too. It's just one of those things that I don't know about it, so I kind of need to go with someone that does.
If you don't have a berry picking experience, we still want to hear where you're from and anything you think might be interesting to us about where you come from. We want to hear all that.
Yeah, oh, what a good reminder. So on that note, who else wants to share a little bit about where you're from?
I can go.
Awesome.
Yake Yosatini. Good to see everyone. Lingit Rena Kajizak Klayu Chatduasak. Blake Rena Christy Provost. You Chatduasak. Ishkatan na Chatsati. Nantasa Hini Kwan Awe Khan. Peace River, Alberta. Ye Yeti. Yeah, so my Tlingit name is Kajizak Pla. My English name is Christy Provost. I'm from the Ishkatan clan from Carcross area. And I'm currently living in Peace River, Alberta, Canada. So yeah, same like Saki said, being from that area, I have lots of memories growing up. Berry picking with grandmas and aunties. Yeah, same area, kind of between Carcross and Skagway was always good berry picking area. Yeah. And that's it, I guess. Just yeah, lots of memories of picking berries and filling bellies and yeah, putting it up for the winter. Kunashish.
Goodness, geez.
Did you have to travel far to find the berries?
No, it's about I want to say like 45 minutes, an hour from Carcross to Skagway, and kind of like halfway-ish, I guess, or not even quite, is kind of where we would pick. So it wasn't too far.
Uh, yeah, isn't that something that's really wonderful about Southeast? Is you just go into the woods to find the berries, like the gentleman from Germany. He said it was right there, close enough, and I've that's the way I always felt about our berries in Huna.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, and no one really wants to like give up their specific spot, but I mean, I'm sure it's kind of like, oh, I don't know, well-known spot anyway.
Yeah. It's funny how we don't want to give up our spots. One of my friends just posted on Facebook a video and she was like, "Hey, I'm here picking berries out in," and when she said the name of where she was, she edited it so there was a bar over her mouth and it like beeped out where the location. It made me laugh pretty hard. Let's see, who else wants to share?
Hi, Anna. This is Annie.
Hey,
I will.
awesome. Welcome.
Thank you. Oh, I think I just lost the screen.
We can still hear you and stuff. Do you need to see the
Okay.
screen or? Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Say, unlike Tammy, I am Tlingit Raven, Dog Salmon from Mangoon, Kick City Frog,
Mm.
Wrangell. My mother Martha Bradley and my father, Herbert Bradley. And my memories of Wrangell are not so much berry picking, but what I do remember, Anna and Shirley, is that I remember that we used to go to the beach off of Shakes Island and go down to the beach and gather garnets, shells, and whatnot. Grandma was she would make moccasins and baskets, so we would pick up shells and garnets for her and collect them. And I remember spending a lot of time in the kitchen, in her kitchen with her. We were raised, a few of us were raised by our grandmother. And then we moved to Seattle in the early 60s or the late 60s. And I've been here ever since, but I go back every 2 years for celebration. And I've families lived in Seattle since the late 60s. I live in the North End, I live in Edmonds, I lived in Richmond Beach. And I'm active in the Native community, in the urban community, and our Alaska community. I attend the cultural classes over at Linwood with Vicky Soboloff and with Daphne and others. And now I'm here today.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, we used to, when we were living there, when I was going to college, is that it's so similar to Alaska. The beaches, things like that. It was great. The weather was pretty similar to Alaska too, southeast.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Good sheesh.
Yeah, it's a beautiful memory. Thank you. Like Shirley said, it doesn't have to be about berry picking. So if anyone else has things you want to just share about home, where you're from, we love hearing that. So who else would like to share?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I see someone in the chat. Okay. Kajis Akta, no problem. We'll see you next class. She has some family stuff she's gonna do right now.
I'm sure that they can hear her. They can hear it.
If nobody else wants to share, I'm just gonna throw a couple berry picking photos up on the screen that I will share. I want to hear your voices first, but I also realize sometimes you want me to go too. Let's see. Anybody else want to share?
You have a lot of time, so uh, as you think about it, I think that every place where you have been has something interesting about it that you can bring out. So we typically wanted to start with berry picking because that's always such uh, uh, family thing. So I know there's other things that you did as a family. My
Yeah,
brother,
it's fun.
my
Go
brother,
ahead.
I used to hunt ducks and geese for Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
Yeah. In Huna.
What was
This
that
is
one,
Annie
Shirley?
again.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to share real briefly. Reason for joining is because I've danced in several of the dance groups, and I've learned the songs while I'm singing with a group, and I would like to be able to learn, more of the language side, to be able to hoping, that would help me to be able to sing the songs on my own as well.
Okay.
Singing is one thing. For dance groups is one of the things we do in this class, because it does teach you about the way we think and how we think about each other, and how we feel about our own clan. So it's a good subject, and you do learn. You learn a lot if you're in a dance group.
Yeah. Oh, should we move on to the topic we also wanted to talk about, Shirley, about people's goals for learning with us in the fall?
Yeah.
Okay. Seems like a good moment of transition. We do also want to hear from you guys. What are some of the things that you are hoping to learn with us this fall?
I'm gonna do it again. I'll start.
Yeah,
Um,
awesome.
um, like Shirley was saying, I'm a weaver, and I have been around Chilkat and Ravenstail weaving my whole life, and so I understand what Shirley's saying about how certain things teach us about how to see each other and the world through our art and our songs and our stories. And I haven't had the opportunity to be exposed to the songs and the stories and the language, and the way that those can shape our understandings. And so I'm really looking forward to those aspects of this class. I learned Spanish back in college and high school, and even if that is a colonizer's language, I definitely saw how it shaped my perspective on the world, and it made me long to learn Tlingit.
Mm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting the way we teach, and a lot of times it's so subtle. It's quite subtle uh, to to learn things. I know today people say you got to have respect for the elders. Uh, in my whole lifetime, I never once heard the word you gotta have the words you gotta have respect. They only taught me and my brother how to treat people, especially the elders. They never said you gotta have respect. They just told us right out that when you come across an elder that needs help, go help them, and things like that to be alert and to watch for that. So some of the ways are pretty subtle, and I think that I hope that'll come across as we teach. But thank you for sharing.
That is such a good point for like how to teach our youth instead of just saying you need to do this, you need to have respect. Like actually, how do you enact that? That's so valuable. Thank you. And yeah, to Ursula's point, so we'll add that to our goals. She's Chilcat and Ravenstail Weaver, so she's looking forward to more exposure to stories, language, and songs, and how those things teach us about where we're from and shape our understandings. Gonna cheese.
I can go.
Yeah.
Um, I just feel like a lot of my family, we've always known we've been Tlingit, and it's been a part of our life. But I'm watching my uncles and aunties grow older and realizing that a lot of us younger kids, even though I'm not even that young anymore, haven't done our work for like preserving our culture within my family and stuff. So I'm just kind of trying to be as connected as possible. I heard Annie saying she takes some of the culture classes in Linwood, and I've been really trying to get a bunch of them as I can. Um, so I'm pretty much here just to like feel connected and try and preserve some of it and teach my little any of the language I can. Um, but yeah, I would love to learn some songs too at some point. Would be great. That's all. Thank you. Sheesh.
Anna,
Yeah.
hi, it's me again. I'm going to
Yeah.
try and keep it short.
Okay.
But some of the things that I was looking forward to learning would be like the alphabets and the sounds, the introduction, like when people attend a gathering and they introduce themselves, their family, what's, the proper introduction. I think that would be fun for everyone, for us to learn, how to properly introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The thing, what we teach in this class is uh, it's important to know how to introduce yourself. There is a formal type of introduction where you speak to a group in a formal way uh, because you're not expecting a response. But on the individual basis, you meet somebody and some older lady or person, and they want to know who are you. So the formal introduction doesn't quite work with that. So there's a way to get around that so that you can have a conversational type of introduction. So just expect that we're going to be teaching those two types.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. This is all so good, and I'm taking good notes. Who else would like to share your learning goals?
So it's Michael again.
Okay.
My learning goal would be just to hear the language really and to learn a few basic words myself so that I can introduce myself, that I can produce all the sounds that you produce as well, which sometimes are really difficult, I must say. And also to learn more about the way that the language thinks. Every language has a different way of expressing the same things. And my native language is German. English is in the same language group, but nevertheless, the languages are totally different. So one thought is expressed in a very different way in both languages for me. And I would like to learn how certain things are expressed in Tlingit. So anything you teach will be very welcome for me. And also, I've noticed a positive side effect already. I've been telling people that I'm taking this class, and they all go like, Tlingit, what is that? I've never heard of that. Where do people speak that? Can you say something? And by that, I'm also trying to make a small contribution to somehow spreading the word that the language exists, that it matters, and that it's still around. So that's why I'm taking the class.
Okay.
That's Kish, you should be aware that in our alphabet system, depending on who's counting it, 52 letters or 48. And the reason for that is we don't have punctuation. We don't use it. And we will tell you about the question mark and how to say the different sounds. But there are uh, eight vowels, 8 Ks, and 8 Xs. And none of the Xs sound like an English X. And there are 5 letters that don't appear in any other language in the world. So you really can twist your tongue around it. But I think it's interesting because I did take beginning German. I was pretty surprised that your word "de" is the same word as in English, in Lingit, "de." So it means you or her or him. So I think it also has the same meaning. But the 4 things that some people don't count that makes it up to 52 is the markings that we have because of the language being monotone. We have the tone mark that only applies to the vowels. And then we also have the underlying letter, which tells you where the letter is sounded from in your throat. An apostrophe that tells you that you use the friction in your mouth to make the sounds. And then finally, we have the period. And the period only appears between vowels. If you have 2 sets of vowels that are sounded, you will have that pause. I think I think it was mentioned already about how to say that. So those are the things that we are going to use, but we don't teach the alphabet. Because if you learn to speak the language, you run across all of these. And the way we try to teach the class is to include a lot of these letters. So those of you that already learned how to speak a little will find that our requirements are a little different than what you're used to. And it's only because we want you to become familiar with some of the harder sounds that are in the language, that you can learn to use them and hear them. So learning to hear them is one thing that's important. I'm very, very strict about learning the vowels. And my students in class, when I was teaching at the university, was say, how long do we have to work on the vowels? I told them, as soon as I hear you using it, because it's such familiar letters that you apply the English sound to it, and that doesn't work. So, yeah, sorry to take over that, but I thought it would be interesting to you. We do have someone that teaches beginning Lingit, and we have, she sent us a recording, and she goes very, very slow. So if you're interested in doing some homework, you can listen to her as she teaches the letters to her beginning class. So, and she learned the language, and she's not a native, but she is an excellent teacher in Sitka.
Yeah, welcome, Tish. So I have the link to the resource that Shirley just mentioned up on the screen, and it's on slide 16 if you're following along with our slides. And it will look like this. It's an audio recording, but basically when she went to go teach one of her classes, her introductory classes, she made this recording so that we could share it, but she has a good way of explaining the sounds. And so this is something you can listen to outside of class to learn a little bit more if if you're hungry for that, on how to pronounce the Tlingit language, the different sounds that can exist. Like Shirley mentioned, Robbie Littlefield has a knack for explaining to English speakers how to pronounce the Tlingit sounds. And before we move on, we have a new student. It looks like I just want to give you space to introduce yourself if you'd like. Kiwashai, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm mostly work with Haida, but I've taken Sushian and now this is my first semester of Lingit. I'm with Yarrow Barrett. And just working to learn the language. So I want to hear the sounds and stuff like that. Sorry, my cat took my seat, by the way. He doesn't like when I'm not petting him. But yeah, so that's why I'm here to get better and to learn working it faster. Thank you, Deuce.
Okay.
Shahawa.
We're interested in if you have a Haida name, or what name do you go by in native
Hiwatlai. Yep, you said it just right.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's
put
my
it on this.
display one.
Okay, cool.
We want you to learn to write it in Tlingit.
Sure. How would you like it? I'm only beginner right now cleaning it.
Yeah, we just go ahead and use the name that you're used to. So we don't if you already have a native name, we just go with that, but we want you to learn to write it in Tlingit so that everybody else in the class can read it.
Oh. Yes, I'd love to.
So far, just looking at it, it looks like it will be pretty similar. Um, I think I remember HL in Haida. Is that pronounced like?
Yeah, it's a Bardell.
Okay. So we have K pinched, YU, W, high tone double A, and we'll do a barred L, double AY. Can you say it for us, please?
You what?
You are shy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Welcome to class and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for having the class.
Awesome. Getting a lot of good stuff from you guys about your goals. Anybody else want to share your learning goals for the fall with us? All right. Well, Shirley, we have 12 minutes left. Do you think I should start them off on the knock knock?
Yeah, if we're through with everybody putting in, you can, if you don't like speaking, send us a note. You can email us and or put it on chat. So we're very, very interested. And I think starting next week, we want to talk as instructors to talk a little bit about kind of things that we want to cover throughout the year, throughout the semester, that is.
Hmm. And if folks are new, like Shirley mentioned, send us a note. I'm just putting both of our email addresses in the chat. So if you're new, please just shoot us an email and say hi. I keep them on a private list so that if we have to email everyone, I can blind carbon copy you and let you know about stuff. We like to work with our students outside of class on their names or anything else. So don't be shy. Send us an email. All right. So we're going to do a knock knock. If you've been with us in past semesters, you've done this before. We've kind of catered it around introducing yourself or a certain scenario where someone comes to your door and you have a conversation. Um, this month, we're hoping to cater it toward phrases that we'll use in berry picking. But for now, since what we've done so far is our names, I have a couple short phrases that just ask, who is that at the door? And then you respond, this is blank, and you share your name. So
Uh,
uh-huh.
I want to share a real village uh, knock knock. It's and I use it here in my house to tell friends, or we have a nurse that visits, and just tell them knock and then open the door and yell. That's what happens in the village. It used to be, and I'm since I've been there for quite a while, I'm not sure, but that's what the pattern that we're using is. Um, we say knock knock and we say who's there, but in the real uh, way that we did it was you knock on the door, then open it and go in. and you see who you want to talk to, or you go in and there's nobody, and you just back out and go back out. Or if you are bringing something, just leave it on the table. But doors were not locked, and usually we knock, but just go right in. So we're using a more modern method here in order to teach you uh, to teach the names and also to just have fun. And we're going to try to include a lot of culture in this method of knock knock because we want you to start having conversations and talk about different things. Okay.
Buenas noches. Okay. It reminds me of being in Caltech in the village where my dad's from, and sometimes you come home and there'll just be like a couple spruce hens on the table. If one of the kids, one of the young boys went and got some and they just bring it to you. So it's kind of nice to come home to stuff like that when people can just go in your house and leave what they brought you. So we'll do like a knock knock, and then when you ask who is it, you use these phrases, or these words, adu sowa. So let's practice this one. Go ahead and unmute your mics. This is a question. Who is that? And so we have this sawa is like um, the question. Sa is letting you know you're being asked a question. And the adu is who. So you know you're being asked a who question. So go ahead and unmute your mics and repeat after me. Adu sowa.
Adu soa.
Do so.
Adu soa.
Good. And Shirley, how did we sound?
Sounds good.
Eh. Like Shirley mentioned, we need to learn the vowels, and I'll just make a couple notes here since there are a lot of vowels here. Vowels in Tlingit can be long, and when they're long, they're written with two. So we have a double A and and a double O and do. Those just means that you let it last longer in your voice when you're saying them. And then we have in the sawa, we have a couple short vowels, sa and we. She mentioned it's a tonal language. So the ah with no accent mark is low ah. And then do is you have an accent mark above it. That lets you know it's a high tone. You guys sounded good, but I just wanted to point that out. So let's do it again one more time.
The
Do sowa. Oh,
uh,
go ahead.
Do so. So.
do uh, the question. I'm sorry. The question mark shows up on sa because we don't use the uh, markings. So that's where the where the question mark shows up in a question, and that's how the person that's listening knows that it's a question.
Good point. So yeah, I put here in our dialogue the sa, I put it in bold on the Tlingit side, and then on the English side, I put the question mark in bold. Just so that when you hear that, like Shirley mentioned, sa, you know you're being asked a question. So one more time, repeat after me. Do sowa.
Adu
So yeah.
soa. Adu soa. Adu soa.
Okay, that's good. And the second person at the door is just going to respond with their name, and then they'll say this word. Repeat after me. Aya.
Yeah.
Aya.
Good. So I'll fill in the blank with my name, and you all can do your names. Nila Tora Aya.
Kadusne aya.
Iwatlay aya.
Utchak aya.
Okay.
Gain aya.
Goodness, geez.
Kuni hande ijin aya.
Okay.
Siki aya.
Goodness, geez. Awesome. So there's our very beginning. Shirley, did you have anything to say about that?
Can we do an example for them?
Yeah. Do you want me to okay, let's go ahead. Knock knock.
Do so.
Nila Tora Aya.
Okay. Knock knock.
Adu Sawa.
Shock Sonny Keek aya.
Okay.
So just say knock knock and you can take a turn.
And we have 2 minutes left, so we have time for one group. Or do we have 2 volunteers? Okay, QSI and one other person.
Okay.
Okay, Chalk. Okay. Go ahead.
Knock knock.
Adu sawa.
Iwatlay aya. Knock. Your turn.
Knock knock.
Adu sawa.
Uthchak aya.
Like, catching on fast.
Mhm. I'm just swelling up with pride right now. Don't mind me. Um, awesome. So it's time to go, but you guys did great today. Thank you for sharing about where you're from, your goals,
And
and
we can
practicing it out.
continue that. We still want to hear those things, your goals, after you have time to think about it, and also any more interesting things about where you're from or things like that.
Yeah, so we'll continue that and we'll see you all. Have a great weekend. We'll continue this on Tuesday. So see you next week.
Good night, Atish.
Uh,